A mortal's journey below the cliffs, Bryan Johnson sat in quiet contemplation within his sanctuary, his mind a sea of questions and unresolved feelings. For years, Bryan had pursued harmony within his body, his mind, and his spirit. Yet the symphony of his emotions remained elusive, discordant. Anger often drowned out reason. Fear crept through his thoughts like shadows. Even joy, when it came, seemed fleeting. The chaotic dance Bryan was not unfamiliar with the power of his emotions, but he often felt overwhelmed by their intensity. They clashed like untuned instruments, leaving him frustrated and fatigued. Why do my feelings resist my control? Bryan wondered, his voice quiet but urgent. The search for harmony, despite the turbulence, Bryan carried a deep belief that his emotions were the key to transformation. He sought to understand their rhythms, to unlock the harmony he sensed within, but could not yet grasp. The dragon's wisdom Zoran's gaze focused on Bryan's struggle, a reflection of humanity's broader challenge to master the symphony within. With the wisdom of ages, the dragon spoke, his voice a low, resonant melody carried on the wind. Emotion is not chaos, mortal, Zoran began, but energy. And energy is not mastered through force, it is harmonized through rhythm and grace. To lead your heart's symphony, you must first listen, not as an enemy, but as an ally, each note carrying the power of transformation. The dragon's words fell gently upon Bryan's heart, their truth resonating deeply. For the first time, he did not fight his feelings or dismiss them. He leaned into them, allowing anger to teach him boundaries, grief to remind him of love's depth, joy to show him the light that still burned within. The symphony in practice with Zoran's guidance in his mind, Bryan began to approach his emotions differently. No longer seeking control, he instead focused on harmony, allowing his feelings to flow, acknowledging their presence, and guiding their energy with intention. Listening to the notes, Bryan spent time each day reflecting on his emotions, journaling their rise and fall. He treated them not as obstacles, but as signals, messages from his inner world. He began to understand the patterns and rhythms within himself, creating space to explore and heal. Guiding the flow through mindfulness practices, Bryan learned to channel his emotions. He embraced breathing techniques to calm anger's fire, gratitude exercises to uplift sorrow, and intentional acts of kindness to nurture joy. With each practice, the symphony within began to align. Transforming chaos into harmony over time, Bryan's emotions no longer clashed. They became a melody, a dynamic, flowing symphony that reflected his evolving inner strength. As he mastered the art of emotional intelligence, his mind and heart found balance, and his soul soared. The universal lesson as the dawn began to rise, Zoran unfurled his magnificent wings, catching the first light of day. Before ascending to the heavens, the dragon spoke his final words, a gift of wisdom not just for Bryan, but for all who sought to master the symphony within. Emotion is not chaos, it is energy, Zoran declared, his voice rising like the crescendo of a great melody. Listen to its rhythms, mortal, and guide them with intention. For a symphony is not born from silence, it is born from mastering its notes, each one a step toward transformation and evolution. A legacy of harmonious Zoran soared into the infinite sky. Bryan stood beneath the light of dawn, his heart filled not with control, but with balance. He had begun the journey of mastering the symphony of his soul, not by suppressing its notes, but by weaving them into harmony. Zoran's wisdom echoed across the cliffs and through the hearts of all who listened, a timeless reminder that the symphony of life was not played through perfection, but through grace, resilience, and understanding.